Check out FlipsideGaming.com for all your gaming needs. Use the promo code HEROES to save 10% on all orders over $10 and support the channel at the same time. Hey there, it's John from Heroes and Legends, and we got some interesting news coming out of Wizards of the Coast today. The article that you see up on the screen, I will link it in the description below if you want to take a closer look at it. We got two big announcements coming out of this one. A new product and the end of an old product. So let's talk about the old product first. We are going to be losing Duel Decks. So RIP Duel Decks. You will be missed by some. Okay, maybe not that many. Duel Decks, I think they've kind of outlived their usefulness. Unfortunately, I like the concept of them. But with the Planeswalker decks out there, I just feel like that's a better purchase, especially for new players or if you're trying to teach somebody to play. They're just more exciting because they always have Planeswalkers. Dual decks don't always have Planeswalkers. And dual decks can be a little complicated sometimes for new players, depending on what mechanics they put in there, because they draw from all over the place. The one thing I am sad to say, though, that I don't really want to see go completely is the fact that it is another reprint avenue that will now be gone. Granted, they never really took true full advantage of it because they were very careful about the price point of the product. And they didn't want to put any crazy reprints in there. But still, you got some interesting reprints, sometimes some new art. And I did like that. They were fun sometimes to play out of the box. But they did have balance issues probably more often than not in recent years. And I don't know. It just feels like maybe it's time. And I'm ready for something new. But with that being said, they're going out with one more deck. And that is going to be Dual Deck Elves versus Inventors. So we saw Goblins make a comeback last time. Elves are making a comeback. The original dual deck being Elves versus Goblins. So kind of a nice way to wrap things up. Elves versus Inventors could be fun. I'm assuming Inventors are like red and artifacts, perhaps like a Kaladesh sort of feel to it. I don't know. So we'll have to wait and see there. But it's going to be $19.99 like the last one was, and like most of them have been. And yeah, just one more time, we'll get to see a dual deck. But what's replacing it is the big question. And that's down below in the article here. And they are called Challenger decks. And this is very interesting. So it says here, Challenger decks are your on-ramp to Standard. These 4 individual 75-card decks are geared towards Standard play for the Friday Night Magic player and forged out of some of the most powerful strategies in Standard. Okay, so 4 different ones. These are going to be 60-card decks with 15-card sideboards. They are supposed to be competitive, or at least hopefully quasi-competitive, in Friday Night Magic. Now, we've seen this type of thing before, and it never quite worked out, but they do address that in the article. We'll get to that in just a second. What else does this come with, though, before we get there? It also comes with a box capable of holding 75 sleeved cards. Probably cardboard, unfortunately, but that's fine if it's a temporary thing. A spin down life counter, which you always get, and you always get a quick reference guide. Okay, so not a lot of bells and whistles here. You're just getting a deck that's hopefully playable. So here's the thing. In the past, when we've seen them make this product, they have to create it so far in advance that by the time it comes out or something like this comes out, you don't know where the meta is. And then you also have the commitment of, are you truly going to put a actual, like, competitive, full-on 100% deck in a box and sell it for the retail price here, which this time is $29.99, so $30. $30, of course, more expensive than a dual deck. You would expect more value in some product like this, and it sounds like you're hopefully getting that value. So here's the part that's really interesting to me, though. If you go to the bottom of the article here, there's this extra part added on by Gavin Verhey, which is the person working on the actual product. And a couple things here that really stood out to me. These decks are intended to be strong and feature many rares as well as at least 2 mythic rares. Okay, so value-wise, sounds like hopefully they'll be worth more than the $29.99 that you're paying for them, or at least slightly more. Just get your money's worth. But here's the part that's really intriguing. Traditionally, with fixed deck products, we built them so far in advance that the decks wouldn't look like what players were playing at the time they were released. But with Challenger decks, we changed our entire process so that we could build them much, much closer to release. I think you're going to be very excited by what you see inside Challenger decks, and of course more information to come. So this is interesting. This is intriguing to me because a couple things jump to my mind here. First off, important to mention one thing. These Challenger decks come out April 6th, so this will be looking at the meta that comes from Rivals of Ixalan. But that's good and bad to me. On one side of the coin, it's great because it does give them time in this new process to actually see what happens with the standard meta and create decks that are competitive. So they can see major tournaments and say, okay, let's pull a deck together that looks like this and we'll ship it. This is one of our 4 decks. Now, that leads to a couple issues though. One issue is, how far are they truly willing to go with this? Is there a competitive standard deck that's going to play like 16 mythics? Are you going to get 16 mythics in that deck? I doubt it, right? So I don't really think that's going to be the case. Do you at least get the shell of the deck enough to have a competitive evening and then maybe build that deck into a competitive deck over the next few weeks? Probably that's what you're going to get here, but there's another problem with that too. If this doesn't come out to April 6th, then it's really during the time that the meta's sort of figured out, and also the next set's about to come out. We're going to be talking about Dominaria at that point, and that's not the time when people are buying standard cards. That's the time when everyone's just kind of waiting to see the previews, waiting to see the first few weeks of the new standard because they want to know what they're going to have to get for their next deck. So that's a little awkward. Now, if you think of this product more as an entry point for Friday Night Magic for standard, well, then it makes a little more sense because you're probably not going in there to win the tournament. You just want to simply be able to hang. And that's probably what these are going to let you do more than anything. You're probably not going to have the expectation you're going to open this box up and win it all. But if I can hang this week and learn and start to get comfortable and then eventually start building my own decks when Dominaria comes out or whatever, then the mission's probably accomplished, right? It's going to be really interesting to see how these are received and how people absorb these and how the market actually absorbs these. It's going to be dependent on a lot of things we haven't seen yet, right? Like actual deck lists, how far they're willing to pull the trigger on competitiveness as opposed to the financial value, a lot of stuff like that, right? So a lot remains to be seen. I'm a little skeptical, but I do think that this could be a good way for somebody to go from a casual player to maybe somebody that actually wants to play competitively. And I do think that's interesting. That's kind of cool. And Friday Night Magic, I mean, we've seen the change in direction there, right? I mean, they started doing the tokens, like it or not. It does create an environment that is a lot more casual, and I think that's what they were going for. So this is a way to take those casual players now and give them maybe another little step up into the competitive scene. That's probably what this is really all about. So you have your Planeswalkers decks to pull them in, and then you go and give them the Challenger decks a few months down the road to bring them into competitive. And in a lot of ways, that makes a lot more sense than what they were doing in the past. So, oh well, all in all, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below on this. And let me know if you think this is a good idea, bad idea, if you like the idea of the dual decks going away or not, and being replaced by this, really, which is actually a very, very different product. But until next time, hey, thanks for watching. Please remember to like, subscribe, and have a great day. Hey, thanks for watching. This video is made possible by the generous support of viewers like you on Patreon. Check out the description below for links to our Patreon page as well as our Amazon affiliate store, where a small percentage of all sales will also help support the channel. Finally, if you haven't had a chance yet to subscribe, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any new videos on Heroes and Legends. Talk to you again soon, and have a great day.